Okay, welcome back to D&D, everyone. So, last time you had returned to the village after having defeated the Guardian God. You were in the middle of celebrating, learning some new things about the town, inadvertently discovering that you may have doomed an entire society by the fact that the Guardian would absorb the memories and then spit out new versions of the villagers, and they no longer have that ability. But, that's a tomorrow's problem. So, more importantly, you had all heard this rather strange noise. It only lasted about 30 seconds or so, but it left a kind of ringing in your ears. You were then able to find out that the way forward had opened up without you actually needing the key. You progressed down through before eventually finding a kind of living spell that you were able to defeat. Going down even further, you eventually did find the entrance to the next level, where you found a number of kind of strange people altered with things like antennae or gills. They had strange armor that was made from scales and bones and carapace, and you eventually discovered that the sound you heard was because of a weapon that they used, believing that they were under attack from the Guardian God. You were able to smooth that over, but unfortunately they informed you that you will be dying within about a week's time if you don't actually find a cure for it. So, having found out that the leader of this section are a group of people that have merged together into what is referred to as a singularity, you were told that they were the singularity was the creator of the weapon, and that the cure would be something they would have access to, but unfortunately they have slipped into a coma, and your contact, the head of the guard, is currently trying to research a method that you can use to actually get in contact with them. So, while Zherna is in the process of taking care of that, what is everybody up to?
I make a sandwich. Piffle does the same.
Make a sandwich. Uh, is there anything we can do to help them figure this out a little faster? We don't
Yeah, what can we do?
Well, the area you're in, they showed you the lab that the people had kind of placed themselves within. Um, Outside of that, however, is a the area is similar to the previous lair, where is a lot of stone, although it's certainly a lot nicer, a lot cleaner. Uh, the fumes of like the acid smell don't just permeate the area. You do notice a lot of biological decorations around. Lots of bone. You see some strange creatures walking around. Almost kobold, although you can tell that it is not quite like that. If it was once a kobold, you are not sure. But the groups of people around, you can definitely tell that they have changed themselves in some way, shape, or form. They all have things like multiple eyes, feathers, scales. Number of them have wings, shrunken, but still moving as they kind of flap it around. Everybody in the area kind of looks at you in a bit of awe, as you are the first newcomers they've seen in quite some time.
Howdy.
ahoy.
One of the younger ones waves to you.
Graham waves back. I wonder if they play cards.
If you'd like, you could look around to see if they do.
What was that? I heard barely.
Fiffle's wondering if they play cards.
Uh,
I'll keep my eyes open for houses of gambling and ill repute. I feel like the people that live under the earth haven't been ripped off enough in recent days.
Make a perception check.
There's so many of them
Boy.
not giving me their money.
Perhaps their money is something even more valuable up on the surface.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Who knows what they use for currency down here? I mean, it could be something dumb, but we'll find out.
Yes, Fiffle. With that 20, you do actually notice kind of down the hallway a bit, and there is a small little sign kind of hung out. It is made from bleached bone, and you can see etched into it. It's in old Arwellen, but you can clearly see that there is little pictures scrimshot in of what appears to be a mug, and you can see the foam of beer coming from it.
Mm-hmm.
You highly suspect this to be the location you think would have ill repute.
Ah, perceive ill repute. I think we should go in there.
Well, all right.
Okay.
Just don't get too messed up if we can drink whatever they got. We got work to do.
I mean, the last place they only drank acid.
Yeah.
I have hopes that this is better.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go in there and check it out. Let's see if this is a place where they don't drink battery acid and eat battery acid and poop battery acid and then eat it again. Because that place sucked.
All right. Well, if you head to that location, you can see that there are a number of tables, chairs set up. There is a bar with people sitting at it. It's a nice mix of people. You can see definitely like they all have that different sort of alterations to their body, with people having like just the different like feathers and scales.
These things look like they've been attached to their bodies, like surgically.
Make a medicine check.
Or they, appear to have grown that way. Yes, as a medicine expert, I know all about this.
You're not sure. It's definitely growing from them, but if it was done through a surgical procedure, you could not say.
I'm just imagining an alternate world where Dr. Rat Sauce, PhD, is a recurring character.
Sounds like a fun world.
Like early aughts medical drama, like ER or something.
Yeah, but then you find out the campaign takes place inside of a snow globe.
Greyhawk's Anatomy.
Well, this campaign is not going to go on for as long as Grey's Anatomy, fortunately.
That's what you think.
Mike Pickings. Well, maybe it's not. Never mind. Sorry, ignore me.
Okay.
So the person that's trying to help us, what were they doing?
Jerna was, she was researching ways for you to get in contact with the singularity.
Maybe Graham will go help with that because I can read old Orwellum.
Okay.
Start doing
How
some
did they get in
library
contact
shit.
with the old singularity before, though?
What was that question?
How did they get in contact with the singularity previously? Is there like some kind of ritual or something?
She had mentioned that they were able to initially contact it normally, but it has slipped into a coma within the past few weeks.
Uh,
I blame Strelok.
is this what kind of coma? Like an intelligent coma?
If you would
You
like
know?
to go find her and ask her, you can.
Sure, I would like to do that. What kind of coma is this? Is it medical induced? Some kind of like nefarious play?
Okay. As you,
Does she have any idea?
yeah, as you and Graham chase her down, and get in touch with her, actually find follow her to the archive she had gone to. She sees you, listens to your question. Well, we don't think it's nefarious. The singularity has lapsed into comas before, although this one is definitely one of the longer ones it's gone into. It may come out in a week or so, maybe longer. Um, but it's
Hmm.
just something that the actual merging of minds is not a well tested procedure. Well, let's leave it at that. So
Could could you merge one of us into it and then unmerge us so we could get the info that way?
that is a thought. And she kind of starts looking through some books, pulls out one thick volume and just kind of slams it on the table. This thing is probably at least a good 1,000 pages.
Mm.
And
Well, Otto's gonna look at Graham since Graham can read it and I can't.
she's kind of like searching through. Give me just a little bit of time. It's actually not a bad idea. The issue is the unmerging.
Hmm. If there's anything I could help to speed things along, let me know. I can read the writing.
Yeah, make an investigation. Okay, so you can actually do either a history roll, or an investigation roll.
Uh, my history is pretty good. Let's try it. My history is not pretty good when I roll a three.
This book, as you're reading through it, is very technical. It uses a lot of terms that you can not quite parse you can understand the individual words, but the way they're linked together, you have no clue what they're referencing.
Okay.
Like this is a thick volume of just arcane technical jargon. Jernet does take another book out and places it next to you that has a number of translations into more layman's terms for you.
Can I
Thank
help
you.
him with those layman's terms to maybe get advantage?
Yep, if you would like, you can make another history roll with advantage now that you have access to the book.
Yay. Nice.
Yeah, you're able to search through and you can find one term really sticks out, limiter.
Hmm.
And looking through the book, you have a very good idea of where you want to look to get the information you're looking for. While you're going through this, we'll swap back to Fiffle and Fern, who are still at the bar. Fiffle and Fern, what are you up to?
I wish to see what they're drinking and order one of it.
Okay. As you approach the bartender, you can see that she has four eyes, not wearing glasses, quite literally four eyes, as well as a kind of horse mane flowing down from like the top of her head down her back.
Mhm.
She's wearing a nice green tunic.
So she's Link.
Yeah. What can I get for you? Well, if Link was half horse, yes.
These things happen.
I look around at people drinking something, in common.
Yeah. Like we got some ales, beers,
Hmm.
wines.
And these ales and beers, how are they produced these days?
Ah, you see, I can tell that you're new, and that the rumors had spread through. So she kind of like pulls a wooden panel down, and you see this kind of giant, almost dog-sized larva.
Ah,
And you can see. So what it does is we feed it we feed it grains, and it ferments within its interior, and then it spits out the beer for you. And she like grabs its like tail, and you can see there's like an opening, and she kind of just squirts it into a mug, and it just like fills up, and she just puts it in front. There you go. Pretty clever, huh?
If
some
Otto was
Darkwood
there,
shit.
yeah, if Otto was there, he would have a WTF look on his face.
Piffle is thinking very carefully about this. Piffle shrugs, says, "That's an improvement on what they got in the next floor up," and tries it.
Yeah, Fiffle, it's actually really good, surprisingly. It's
Okay.
a bit warm.
Piffle's gonna just politely ask her if she can close that panel again.
She just closes the wood panel. There you go.
Okay. Yep. I'm gonna go in the corner and drink this. I never saw that. Cheers.
First one's on the house.
Oh, thanks.
Tell your
Oh, yeah, we should
friends.
probably figure out if it'll actually accept our money before we keep drinking. And by we, I mean you. Have fun.
All right. Going back to Graham and Otto. With the idea of the limiter, she's able to flip through the book, and here we are. So, that was a good idea. We can actually hook you in and temporarily merge you with the singularity, but we're going to need the limiter, and that is what is going to prevent you from permanently merging in. It will create a bit of a block between you and the singularity fully, so you may need to search and get the information you're looking for. I've never actually merged in, so it's not going to give you the information you want right away. You're going to have to look for it. The other
Okay,
problem.
now, one last question. Is there any possibility that our brains melting out of our ears might have a negative effect when our brains are in contact with the singularities?
With the limiter, it's not going to be a problem for the singularity. Should mention that anything that happens to your bodies outside the merge, uh, it's going to translate into your minds when you're actually connecting to it, and anything that happens to your minds within, it will reflect onto your physical body.
Well, I suppose I'm not too surprised.
So just once you're inside, don't get stabbed by anything.
I'll try.
I guess that's.
Do we need to make this limiter?
We have one. I just don't happen to have it with me as it is currently being held. It was produced by one of our researchers who she is in charge of the water vats. Uh, it uses a kind of coral substance to grow, so she is the one in charge of it, and she has not been too keen to part with it.
Well, kind of an emergency. So, how do we do this?
I mean, she's a bit stubborn. She and I are not don't see eye to eye on many things, so it may be in your interest to go and negotiate with her.
Well, we can try.
Well,
Any particular advice on making her amenable to the idea?
I think the reason she doesn't want to give up the limiter is because she was never much one for the singularity in general, and I think a lot of people have stopped from actually merging their minds together simply because it's permanent and they're concerned what would happen. With the limiter, it would give them a experience with it to see if they like it or not. So I guess it's a consideration that she's doing it for everyone's own good.
Well, not mine. So,
Well,
Hopefully
I would like
she's
to live, so yeah.
inclined to listen.
she's over by the water vats. The other problem is she is not going to come out of the water. You're going to have to go in and talk to her. So you're going to need a way to actually breathe underwater
Uh,
and communicate underwater, for that matter.
You happen to have anything handy for that?
Um, well, are you okay with being altered like I am?
Uh, I may not have a whole lot of choice, depending.
Or we could possibly. We do have some spell scrolls that would let you breathe underwater. You'd have to buy them, but
That might work. Uh, well, let's see what we got and see what you got, I guess.
that's good. The alteration may take some time, and unfortunately, well, I could possibly. We were experimenting with a single dose of a mutagen that would alter your body over the course of about a 24-hour period. You'd also have to eat a lot to, not starve to death. Uh, I should warn you, though, that doing such a thing would overwrite your current race and turn you into something different.
You've been playing a lot of Cataclysm DDA, haven't you?
I have played that game and it is fun, but this is actually more Magic the Gathering inspired.
I was waiting for you to like, oh no, this is more Quasimorph.
I don't think I've ever played Quasimorph, but
Well, we'll keep that in the back pocket as a matter of desperation. I might be able to spend a day and get some magical assistance myself, but I'd rather not burn a day if I don't have to.
well, you got about a week or so before the weapon fully takes effect and kills you. So I would say prepare to the best of your ability. Option two is we grow a new limiter. That may take a few months, however.
Well, let me go check in with the rest of the team, let them know where we stand.
We could possibly freeze you or turn you into statues until we do build the second limiter. How agreeable are you to be frozen as statues for 4 to 6 months?
Less than ideal, but less ideal than dying. So let's call that one Plan B. Maybe Plan C.
We'll put a pin in that one. All right. Going back to Fiffle and Fern. Fiffle, you have a mug of a tasty, albeit somewhat warm, drink in front of you. Does Fern
Yeah,
get anything?
it's supposed to be room temperature.
Oh, it's a little warmer than room temperature.
It's supposed to be served like that. Anyway, Graham,
Hello.
they have excellent beer here. You should have one.
Do they have any snacks?
Probably. I would ask where they came from, but it's not acid.
Well,
Oh, that's good.
that does look mighty nice. Sure, I'll have one.
Uh, I'm gonna ask Fern in the back of the where did that beer come from?
There,
Just
I
ask
saw.
questions you don't want to answer.
I saw how he got it right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell Otter. What happened?
And he said it tasted good.
That's he's drinking it. He seems to like it.
Otto's thinking, what's the nearest animal up on the surface that looks like that we can try?
Uh, it
I don't want to
looked
for the bar.
like a giant grub, but where grubs are normally tiny, this one was about the size of a beagle.
So Otto's gonna ask Fern is like, so can we like make magic bay beagle looking grubs and just hide it?
Uh, maybe.
Just think about all the animals you can adopt if we people like this and we get rich.
Could try, I guess.
there a nature roll she can do
Grandmore
to
or
see if
beer?
something
Yeah,
will
let me
work like
check.
that?
Yeah,
26
that's what I
down.
was thinking.
You can do a nature roll, yes.
I'm
Okay.
appealing to her love for animals, so give it to her at advantage.
I will let you do a flat nature roll.
Where's nature? There it is.
Okay, well, with the 26, from what you can tell, this creature obviously isn't natural. It's
Okay.
been created through some sort of alchemical science. Um, if you suspect, however, that a creature like this probably can make more of itself. So if you can get like a baby, you could possibly grow it until you reach, you know, new size. You'd also have to figure out how to take care of it. Although with knowledge of insects or bugs, you probably have a relatively good idea.
I'll tell Otto that, and I'll be like, I don't know if you could ask the bartender if she has an extra one you could buy.
I'm not gonna lie. When you went with that, Graham would have thought had he been there, like, okay, how much for one? How much for just a pet that makes alcohol?
I will ask in the back of my mind is like, I wonder if Professor Stonesnow can make something like this for me too.
So that's entrepreneurial thinking right there. Love to see it.
So you ask the bartender this?
Yeah, it's like ask about the yeah. I'll ask all about the grub. It's like how was it made? Reproduction.
Oh, well, this was a combination of selecting larger and larger ones and also using magic to create a kind of formula that would cause it to grow. Then you also had to go and find a way to have the actual food you feed it ferment within inside its like interior and its guts. Uh, but it's a bit of effort. We grow, it gets little versions. We grow them bigger. We select the larger ones and the ones, and then depending on what you feed it, it will produce different kinds of alcohols. And then with specific breeding, and we can actually have it create something. I'm actually trying to currently breed one that creates a cold drink. Although having it actually have a cold stomach, that's a trick I've yet to figure out how to do.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Fern,
you
write
have
all
to
this
make the
down.
drink cold afterwards. That might be
So
I
we're
the
feel
only move
I
there.
feel like if we introduce this guy over to Professor Stonesnow,
Is
there's gonna be like a massive business booming.
is Graham here for this part of the conversation?
Yeah,
I believe
I
so,
think
yeah.
he would be.
Cool. Just making sure. Graham will just immediately be like, so you could take some copper tubing and you could make like a series of wines in it and put a chiller in the middle, something cold, maybe a block of ice, and then goes in one end, comes out the other nice and cold.
That's not a bad idea. It's just metal is a bit limited down here. The majority of it actually went to help the singularity.
Ah,
Hmm.
But I guess yeah, on the surface, if you have access to metal like that, we could definitely make a chiller. Uh, Honestly, my plan was to just get one that was like hotter and hotter, and then just feed it rice, so it would like spit out a hot rice wine.
hmm.
Brilliant.
I'm. I might need to try to get one of these. How much can this thing produce?
Well, this little guy here, he can, you know, you feed him enough. You'll typically produce 20 gallons a day. Um,
Hey, Ed, are you ready for the Tavern Keeper DLC
Yeah,
involving the grubs full of beer?
yeah. This is the Tavern Keeper DLC right now.
Wait, so there is. I just came up with this. I really hope that there wasn't like.
No, no, no.
Good.
We
Aha!
both played a little like Unity asset game involving making a tavern and having to stock it.
Good. I wanted
So
to
I could
just.
absolutely see like, hey, we made a grub that just naturally ferments alcohol.
No, I just know like there's that thing where like.
Quickly patents idea.
What is it? Auto brewery syndrome? Where you like.
Yes.
So I had an idea for like that on purpose.
Is it drunk all the time? The grub.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So like after we're done here, could we still communicate with these guys and like make something happen here? Because I feel like we can get him the medal. He helps with the grubs. My like my tavern up there when we get back.
You get the most popular novelty drink of the season.
I yeah.
I like that we've got all these plans and we're gonna finally get back up top and be like, yeah, Civil War started while you were down there.
This is
God
fine,
damn it.
but soldiers need alcohol to forget the cruelties of war.
Anyway,
Well,
I
while
assume.
we're discussing this, we need to we got a plan of action, but we need to get a hold of a thing guarded by somebody who ain't keen to give it up. And she lives underwater, and we're gonna have to go down to her and be able to breathe and communicate down there. They could sell us some scrolls, they could surgically alter us, they could do weird shit. No offense. Uh I might be able to pull some magic together tomorrow. I just don't want to wait a day if I can help it. So I was thinking of seeing how much that magic would help or would cost us if we wanted to buy those. Also, I'm not sure I
Mm,
want gills. Also, no offense.
uh, I'm not a fan of being altered because I don't know how we'd be accepted on back on the surface. I'll do scrolls last.
make it a kind of check.
Anybody can help me?
I can't, I
I
don't think.
can't.
Okay,
I am untrained in Arcana, but I would roll at a +3.
I got a five. I'll go. Here we go.
Ow.
Okay. Yeah, you know that there are water breathing spells that would last a full 24 hours. Artificers, druids, rangers, sorcerers, wizards, all they could do that. A spell like that would probably run you a good like a scroll would probably run you a good 300 gold.
Oof.
Do we need to send one person only, or how many
It,
people?
it would affect up to 10 people.
Okay.
Maybe we could also negotiate, like, hey, we could wake up your the collective conscious. See if we can get some sort of discount because we're helping them
Yeah,
out.
yeah, we can try that. I mean, for the greater good, right? We don't want anybody to die, and we want them to get their conscience back.
Mm-hmm. The bartender.
Um,
By the way, if you're interested, I could sell you some of these grubs. I mean, I'm not much for competition, but if you're going to take them up to the surface,
I am gonna have to come back and take you up on that offer. How much do they cost?
Same.
And how do I need a care and feeding. I need like this thing is
Can they
going to be treated
survive?
like a
Can they
god king
survive in
up
the
there.
surface? I assume yes. I just want to make sure
well, you want to keep it warm,
we
uh,
we can do that.
and you got to feed it like a special feed. But I can sell the like you grub like a little baby grub. It'll take a couple of weeks for it to get big, but I can get you one for I don't know 20 gold a piece per grub.
All right, all right.
I was gonna say watchmaker, but
Nah,
Graham and I
he
will
didn't have
discuss
the
this.
raging alcoholism problem.
This is gonna happen, by the way.
You it's just supposed to be something vaguely nightmarish, but you underestimate my alcoholism.
You also underestimate the fact that Biffle has encouraged me to entrepreneurship.
But I wasn't sure which way you guys would go with the whole grub beer, but
I mean, we can have regular beer. We can have the specialty versions on the house, you know, of the house, and in the back of Otto's mind, his pupils kind of turn into like gold coins. But anyway, yeah, we'll take some once we everything's all like tied up
Yeah,
here.
well, once we know we're not going to be dead in a week, we're coming back, and I'm getting at least a grub.
all right then. Well, whatever you feed it, that's what it produces. So rice will get you a rice wine. Wheat will give you like a beer. Hops, whatever. I hear there's like fruits on the surface you can get it that will, really get it cooking.
It's
Oh
it's
yeah,
just a living Stardew Valley distilling barrel.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like,
Oh,
yeah, you just you gotta squeeze it out all the way before you start feeding it new stuff, or it gives it an upset stomach
yeah,
or
true.
stomachs, I suppose, in this case.
Wow. That's actually, I don't know if you know this, that's actually fairly accurate to how you actually would brew beer. You have separate tanks for different stages of the development.
Oh, that's why I was
Yeah,
thinking about like buying a few grubs.
yeah. So you just that was I sort of had that idea. I wasn't sure the 100% specifics, so when I was creating this whole horrifying grub creature in my mind, I was like, it needs at least a few. It needs at least a few stomachs.
Oh my god, cool. Did you write all this down, Fern? Can you remember this? Because I was
Yeah.
writing down what
Oh,
I could.
okay.
Well, we can circle back to it later.
Yeah, I wrote down what I could.
So I guess we can go to wherever they're selling magic stuff and see if we could haggle them to like maybe half price for that scroll or scrolls.
Sure. Let's give it a doozy.
All right. As you well make an investigation to try and find somebody selling magic items.
I
You
will assist.
yeah, you know
Thank you.
that's around. You just don't know where it is exactly. Okay.
20.
20 is enough. Yeah, you're able to find a section on where it's a back office that has just walls lined with scrolls. And you can tell from right away that it's magic. There is a little sign outside. Graham, you can read it. Of course, it just says magical scrolls for sale.
The perfect scroll.
And for everybody else, it's just a very crude drawing of a little wizard guy just kind of like spraying like little sparks out of his hand, and then there's like a bunch of scrolls around him and he looks in glee.
Mhm.
It is not much more than just a stick figure, however.
I'm waiting for us to go down to Z level and find the weird, obscure wizard enclave, and it's just the wizard posting subreddit.
Inside, you can see somebody who has a kind of shell across them. Reminds you almost of a crab shell. You can see like the little antenna are just like tapping onto some pages. With the hands, it's kind of like just carefully dipping into ink and just inking these scrolls, and you can see it painstakingly kind of like writing. And it finishes up and it sees you. Ah, customers. How can I be of assistance today?
Oh, howdy. Uh, we're obviously we're new in town, and
Howdy, indeed, yes.
you probably heard that you deployed your sonic weapon under the assumption of an attack from the Acid Guardian thing.
Mm hmm, yes.
Uh, I'm lament to tell you that we have 1 week to live, and we're trying to do something about that. And that brings us to you now, sir. You,
Ah,
there's someone in town who's got something we need, but she lives underwater, and so we need to be able to get to her and talk to her to try to convince her to part ways with what we need to not die.
Which is the limiter, so that we can go talk to the collective conscience to help us not die and awaken him or her or they or them.
so you would like lightning to zap into the water to cause her to die? Yes?
No, we need to talk to her.
Yeah, we preferably would not want to be violent today.
Well, I could sell you a water breathing scroll if that's what you're interested in. Uh, and we do have a bit of, you know, a little economy down here. And I can tell you from the surface, and rumors spread quick down this way when there's only a few hundred people.
The
And I must admit, an influx of money. We don't have a great way of minting money, so an actual really what it is just trading coins all between ourselves for hundreds and hundreds of years.
this I lament to tell you that's actually how economies work for real.
Hmm.
But also in character, uh, Graham will ask, will the water breathing scroll let us communicate down there as well, or would we need something else to talk underwater?
No, you would be able to. You would just be speaking normally, and your voice will travel through the water. Uh, and then anybody else down there would be able to do the same.
All right. Any odds we could try to talk you down on a discount for the scroll?
Well, I
Wait.
was looking forward to becoming vastly wealthier.
Well, our influx of coin, wouldn't that just tip the favors in your direction? It
Yes.
is outside currency, so
Actually, speaking of, what is your outside currency?
Well, we got gold, silver, copper, a couple platinum.
Oh, well, that's the same here. He pulls out a gold coin and shows it to you. And Graham, go ahead and make a history check.
Ugh. Eh.
Uh, it's clear that this is a. You're not sure the exact person, but this is obviously a former Arwellan emperor who has had his face minted onto these coins. Uh, his face would not be on the coins you're holding.
Yeah. Graham will show some modern day currency while I check my sheet to see how much modern day currency I have.
Hmm,
would
I have 254 gold, 9 silver, and 6 copper.
that's fascinating. I mean, it's still gold, so it's good. I mean,
it's also would be limited edition down here since it's more. I don't know how to phrase
We
it.
would be giving you the jump start to the economy, as it were.
well, I mean, probably I would just melt your coins down and just remint them with the emperor's face. But yes, it's all gold, so it's all good. So how much of a discount were you thinking? Because I was going to charge you 300 for this. I mean,
Uh,
you got to put the spell onto the paper, and the paper needs to be active magically, and the ink has to be also active magically.
I was hoping I could maybe talk you down to 150 gold in return for waking up the collective conscious.
Well, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, the singularity has been protecting us from the guardian god above.
And
We killed him too.
Oh,
we,
so it's
yeah, we did take care of him. And
Hmm.
ideally, if we survive all this, we're going to go back up topside, and maybe we could try to foster some trade agreements between you and some of the folk up top.
make a persuasion roll.
I will make a persuasion roll, and it's not going to
Did
be
my
good.
little bit of did my little bit of helping him give him at least advantage?
We'll just it lower the DC a bit.
Eh.
Hmm. I can't do 150, but I could do 200.
You know what? That's fair. I'll take that. And Graham will just go ahead and pay it and tell the others to get him back later.
And I'll tell you what, just because if you're able to wake the singularity up, come back here and I'll give you some more discounts on a couple more scrolls just because it would help me a bit.
Well, thank you.
And also, I want your money.
Graham will slide over 200 gold.
It will spread the word of your shop down here. There's a school of magic casters above.
Oh yeah, you're right below a magic academy as it happens.
Oh yes, that was well known. It was actually back in Arwellan times that was set up. Actually, it even predates them. Initially, it was suspected to be not necessarily a magical school, but maybe a magical focus for an arcane society that predates the Arwellan Empire.
Hmm.
Anyway, he slides over a water breathing scroll.
Thank you very much. Pleasure doing business with you. My name's Graham, by the way.
Ah, I am. He just like gives a kind of like bubbling, squeaking sound that.
It's it's like Men in Black. These are the twins, Gleeback and Bob.
Yes, Bob will work for a name for me. As you, I knew some
Oh
people have
shit.
issues pronouncing my name. You see, you have to get it down in the throat, and then you have to vibrate your three different vocal cords at once.
Ah,
Biffle tries to count his vocal cords.
Fiffle does not have that many vocal cords.
How many vocal cords does it take to get to the center of it? Oh,
Anyway, just read that off. The scroll will be consumed. You'll be able to breathe underwater up to 10 people that are willing for 24 hours.
thank you, thank you. It's
Personally, I'm a fan of breathing underwater myself. I highly
yeah, it
recommend it.
could be mighty useful.
Now, have you ever actually gone and breathed underwater before?
No, I can't say as I have.
All right. It's a little traumatic the first time. I recommend having somebody force your head underwater until you have to take a breath.
God, we all have mammalian dive reflex, and we have to use magic and still live with that. That's horrifying.
Now, you'll breathe normally, of course. You won't
And to
notice
think
any
about how
real
the spell doesn't
difference.
handle that part.
Jesus Christ, how horrifying.
But yes, once you get now, the other problem is once you've done that the first time, try not to breathe underwater again unless you have another spell, as you it will tend to cause drowning.
Yeah, makes sense.
Biffle furiously takes notes.
Don't drown. Got it. Now, do you know anything about this lady that we're going to see? If there's any dangers on the way to her, or
Dangers? No, 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 no. We're as far as societies go, I think relatively pleasant. She's not going to be aggressive, if that's what you're wondering. Actually, she and I are, I don't want to say friends, but she is one of the foremost researchers for underwater magic.
that's
Her name is
potentially
Lilia.
useful. So, between you and me, can you give us any recommendations on convincing her to part ways with the limiter if she's not keen to?
Well, let's think.
I understand she's not a fan of the whole consciousness thing, so
Oh, yes, as old school thought of not merging together into a single unified being. Apparently, something about free will and individuality. I'm not 100% on that one myself, but
sounds fake.
I wouldn't merge in for the simple fact that you have to sit in a tank all day,
Hmm.
which is troublesome to say the least. Well, your options for her are you could engage her in debate upon water magic. Uh, you could bribe her, money goes far. Or you could just try and convince her that you will be doing this for the betterment of society.
We're also doing it to not die. Hopefully, she's sympathetic to that.
I would describe her ethical philosophy as utilitarian.
Ah,
So make of that what you can.
shit. Well, all right. Thank you much. That does give me a couple ideas. I'll see you again and hopefully continue seeing you.
Good luck on having your head explode and your brain melt from your ears.
Thanks. It's all I ever wanted anybody to ever say to me.
Plus, you got all those grubs that you want to taste all the alcohol of.
Oh, be sure to try some of the. Well, we've been growing this kind of seaweed that we've been feeding it that has produced. It's exquisite.
What what flavor taste does it have?
The flavor is ooh, it's got this sweet sensation to it, and then we actually add a little bit of salt to it.
Hmm.
Otto's writing this down.
The seaweed itself grows from the back of these creatures down below that we've been investigating. Uh,
Hmm.
and then we just harvest the seaweed that grows from them, and then we feed it to the grubs, and it ferments. Quite good. It has a
I
very
gotta admit, I kind of like this place.
It's a very odd flavor if you've never had it before. I was reluctant myself, but you have to expand your mind to new things, right? Well, maybe not you, but with the whole
Oh,
exploding skull syndrome you're experiencing. But yes, beyond that, it's normal.
Hmm, cool. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll suppose if everyone's ready, we could probably get started today. I'd rather take as little of this week we got left as possible, just in case there's snags.
That is a troublesome hand, yes.
Okay.
I'm ready whenever.
Well then, if you do wish to speak with Lilia, you simply head down the hall and then swing a right, and then you're going to look for the water labs.
Thank you much.
You're quite welcome.
Okay.
Well, anyway, do try not to die. Please come again if you need any more spell scrolls. I have up to what would be magically described as level 3 spells.
Hmm.
So if you want a fireball, it's well within my capability.
I've had enough experiences with fireballs through a former compatriot of ours.
Ah, yes. They do like them fireballs, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Then he wonders why he's poor when he's melted all the gold.
Oh, I will be right back. Unless I'm not, in which case my head exploded.
Well, these things happen. Just try not to worry so much about it.
Get some fermented wheat. Lordy. Okay, so unless we have anything else to do, I guess we should just make our way to this person downtown.
Okay. You follow the directions that were given to you by Bob.
Yep.
Well, it's clear to see the way down. As you're heading this way, you can feel the air become kind of cooler and cooler. You can definitely feel the humidity, and you eventually do approach a door. It opens up, and you can see that it leads into a room where there is a little circle in the stone, and there's a fresh, clear water that heads down the circle. As you look through, you can see it goes down about 40, 50 feet, and then it kind of like the tunnel kind of bends and goes further in.
I guess it's underwater breathing time.
All right. You read the scroll.
Yeah, let's read the scroll and jump in.
Okay. As you read the scroll, the energy you see kind of flow out from the paper, and it just kind of like strikes every member of the party along their head. You can see this like glow along the head before it dissipates. The paper in your hand then just disintegrates and just completely burns up into just fine ash. You don't really
Mm,
feel anything different.
uh, I'll jump in and do what I was instructed to do.
Have your head held under the water until you're forced to
Yes,
take a
I'm just
breath.
kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go.
Okay. You jump into the water. Do you attempt to breathe? Or do you hold your breath?
I don't even think about it really.
Okay.
So I guess I'm fine. I don't. I'm assuming I don't feel any different, like when I was underwater before.
You're swimming as you normally would. You don't notice any change to how you move underwater. You're not any faster.
Yeah.
If you do attempt to take a breath, uh, it's odd. You can feel the water within, like, flowing into your lungs, but you aren't dying.
Hooray! All right, let's go.
It's all right.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is like a one-way path.
Yep, it goes just one single direction.
Okay. I just follow the path, thinking about all the money I'm gonna make with these grubs. But then my head doesn't explode.
The path Yep, it loops down and it continues forward, and you go a few hundred feet before you can see that this pipe opens up into a large room completely filled with water. You can see within the room a number of fish and other sea creatures. You can see that the bottom has been lined with a amount of sand. There are a number of coral reefs, tiny, but they're growing, well as different kinds of seaweeds that are sectioned around. You can see that they've all been placed in their own specific section with little tiny barriers around them and a number of signs placed above them that you assume label them, although they're written in Old Orwellan. Further back within the room you're in, you can see a woman. She is kind of doesn't really seem to notice you. She's floating around. You can see that she has gills along her neck that allow her to breathe under the water. Her hair is a strange kind of almost seaweed kind of flowing out. The Her skin is somewhat scaly like a fish. Her hands and feet you can see are webbed. Uh, and she has kind of parked herself at a kind of it's odd. It is a kind of like table or desk. You can see a number of items have been affixed to it so they don't float away. In her hand, she holds this kind of red gelatin thing that she bites into. And she looks over and sees you. Hmm? Yes, yes, what do you want?
Uh, what was it that we wanted? Oh, I'm thinking of singularity, and I'm forgetting what
The device
the,
you're on is the limiter.
the limiter. That's what I was trying to think. Don't we need your assistance? Let me see. We got caught in this. What was it? You consider this like a biological weapon at this point, or like I don't even know, a sensory weapon?
Yeah, it was described as to you as a sonic weapon.
This sonic. We were caught in the crossfires of a sonic weapon for when the Guardian God invaded.
Mm.
When he actually died, so we need to at least borrow the limiter so that we could get to the conscious, so he can undo, or they. I don't even know what it is. They can
Oh.
undo
Mm-hmm.
our death in a week and the deaths of the people above us.
Well, why don't you just say so? Of course you can have it. Obviously, I'm joking. No, this is
I just
mine.
yeah, because I just like looked. I looked like in reality, I would have looked at Graham like, "Is this serious?"
That was easy.
I've grew this limiter as requested. However, I was never requested to actually provide it, and I'm not letting anybody else join the singularity, as it is an affront to our individuality. So, unfortunately, no, you may not have it. It stays with me. I am sorry that you're going to die in a week's time. If you'd like, I do have a method that would prevent that from occurring. I would need to simply deafen and blind you.
So I take it she just turned us down.
She's the creator of the limiter, and she doesn't want anybody wants to keep their individuality from the singularity. And you just heard the solution. We can just become deaf and blind.
Uh,
It would prevent you from dying from it.
It also would not do the same fucking thing. It's like I'm just thinking out loud here, in person and out of character. It's like
It would certainly limit you, but you would not be dead, which is always certainly a good thing, I imagine most people believe.
I got a little too much work ahead of me to settle down deaf and blind, unfortunately. Really, no way
so, so
whatsoever we can
to so
convince you.
to So deaf and blind is the solution versus giving up what little, like losing our individuality temporarily to save ourselves.
My
That's the whole point of
concern
the limiter, isn't it? To keep you separate.
Yeah,
My
we don't
concern
want.
is that everyone is going to, once they have access to the limiter, they can merge with the singularity. They will, and most people are stupid, so they don't quite understand how things work. You have to simply do it for them. They will, in their mind, think it's not that bad, and then they will join in, and they'll lose their individuality, and they'll have no further recourse to separate if once they realize what a mistake they made.
So you think that the consciousness wouldn't voluntarily let them out?
It's not a matter of voluntary or not. It's a permanent merger once you actually go in.
So why not use us as a test bed to expand the capabilities of the limiter so people can do a trial run and get back out?
Well, that's my concern. They'll do the trial run, and then in their mind, they'll think, oh, this isn't so bad. I could easily join in permanently, no problem whatsoever. Then they join in permanently, and then they realize later, no, actually, I would like to be an individual. But by that point, it's too late, and they've merged in.
Okay.
So
At least you've given them a chance.
People are stupid. Giving them a chance, they'll put their hand on a burner or eat something they're not supposed to.
so who are you, respectfully, of course, to tell an idiot what to do and what not to do? I mean, I agree broadly, but you're not the idiot. Their life should be theirs, even if they fuck it up.
Are you suggesting that as an individual idiot, they should have the ability to do something incredibly stupid?
I mean, yeah, kids don't learn until they fall and scuff their knees a couple times.
Well, I suppose this is less learning from falling and scuffing your knees and more like learning by getting pulled into a thresher, but the problem is it's permanent.
Learning nonetheless.
I mean, the idiot doesn't learn because they're gone, but maybe the other idiots will learn from
So,
the
hear
original
me
idiot
out.
being gone.
The
Let's say
remaining
one
idiots will learn
person
the
gets
bloody
buyer's
smear left
remorse
behind.
after it's too late for them. Why not just have the new people using the limiter speak to that part of the hive mind and find out, oh, this ain't for me? If it's that bad and they regret it, then surely they'll have an opinion on it for the next guy who comes through.
Mm, honestly, though, you did raise a good point. I hadn't considered the fact that I champion individuality, and yet I'm preventing the individual from making their own choice. I still believe this is not the best option. Might I make a recommendation? I will provide you the limiter, but once you do whatever you need to do, I would ask you to then destroy the limiter. I can always grow a new one. But I would like some more time to at least try and convince people to what I'm saying.
We can try, I suppose. We could always bring the thing back to you.
Also
Could could
usable.
she? Yeah, could you be there controlling the limiter when we go in? This way that you have possession of it, and then you can remove it from the equation after we're back.
I could. I prefer to spend my time underwater, but I suppose a few hours on the surface won't do me any harm.
I don't blame you. It's nice down here. I wish I could breathe all the time without changing my physical form.
Are you interested? I had been devising specific ways to alter your shape.
No, I like the way I look. I just prefer not to alter my shape right now,
I
unless
mean,
it's
You don't
I'm
like
like
fine
the
doing
well
that.
unless I
shaped.
can polymorph into it as needed.
This this lady in like polymorph technology becomes like a big designer thing on the surface, and she opens up the men's warehouse like that.
Men warehouse.
Can you give me gills?
Yes.
How much does it cost?
Well, I would do it for you for free. Now, I should warn you that actually doing this would overwrite your halfling nature.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that before. That's why I was thinking.
Class.
I
Well,
do
Out of,
need my halfling bonuses. They're very
I
important
was
to
gonna
me.
say out of character. Does his bonuses go away? Is he still like in his heart? He's still a halfling.
Out of character, well, I mean, in his heart of hearts, he would still be a halfling. Out of character, he would have his race changed.
Merfolk.
Thus, my bonuses
He would
would.
be a merfolk.
all right. Well, I'm grateful and graciously going to accept your help. And not for nothing, could you go in with us under the limiter, or would it only be us? Because you could get perspective in there.
No, thank you. I would prefer to spend as much time as an individual as possible.
Understandable.
However, once you're inside, I would like you to commune with the singularity and convince it to not allow other people to merge in.
Can certainly give it a shot.
We will do our best for you. Would we be talking to a hive mind at that point then? Would it be multiple opinions?
While I believe they've coalesced as they have merged together several centuries ago,
Okay.
I do believe that there is going to be splits. My knowledge and research based upon the actual merging technology does lead me to believe that the limiter would provide a specific barrier between you and the actual merging in with the mind itself. You may have to simply commune with it to the best of the ability. It may also just be something different. I would not know as I have not been inside. It would be up to you to actually investigate further. I
All
will
right.
admit I'm a little curious as to what we would find inside.
Well, we
As
can let you know for sure.
well, that would be the other thing. I will admit I do have a certain curiosity. Very well then. She swims over to the desk, opens up a drawer, and she pulls out. It is a piece of coral, approximately a foot long. And you can see that there are specific kinds of growths along it that are just like wrapping around it, as well as different holes that have been kind of drilled into it. Provide the Sojourner. She knows how to hook it up. And then you will simply merge into the singularity. I suppose the other thing to worry about is you will also have to find your own exit. Simply removing you from there would leave your mind within the singularity, but your physical body disconnected.
Gotcha.
So go in, do what you need to do, and find your exit.
All right. Thank you kindly. Let's not hesitate. Graham will collect the limiter and depart to go enter the matrix.
Okay, the limiter is like definitely got that kind of rough, almost stone-like feel to it. You can tell that it is organic. Definitely, if especially if Graham has ever seen or felt a coral reef before.
I don't know that he has.
It is completely unknown to you what this is. It
His
feels
feral
almost.
redneck instincts take over. He just, no.
Very good. Well, be off then. Destroy it when you're done. Or actually, no, I suppose I'm coming with you, aren't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well, one second. She takes like the little kind of red gelatin she'd been eating and just finishes. There we are. I must say, it's difficult to find a way to drink wine underwater.
Good idea. I like what this place is doing with drinking. I really do.
I write this into my grub alcohol fermenting notes.
Yes, you simply get the wine to ferment within a gelatin structure that you can then consume.
This is being
Wine gums, we call them.
this is all being noted.
Yes, the attempting to drink from a container underwater has proven difficult. Well, anyway, let us not waste when we can make haste.
Let's go.
As you all follow the way back out, kind of dripping wet as you exit. You follow her to the actual area where the singularity is. Collect Jerna, who comes with you. Jerna takes the limiter from you, and she kind of hooks it in. It's like, all right, you'll simply be strapped down to the large table there. Then we will hook up these wires to your head. I will then be able to connect you to the singularity. You may feel some slight discomfort. And so I should. Yep, and once again, anything that happens to you within the singularity itself will then replicate to your physical body, and anything that happens to your physical body out here will replicate to your mind within the singularity. So,
Noted.
you may feel the effects of the sonic weapon even when you're within the singularity itself.
All right. Good to know.
I'll be right back.
So if there's anything you wish to do before you enter in.
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. And based upon certain, let's say, theories we developed, we believe because of your mind's and body's attachment to one another, your physical and mental capabilities within the actual singularity itself will maintain. So even though you have no physical body within there, you believe you are as strong as you are in the outside.
Makes sense. Cool.
And of course, your mental abilities will be identical, as those will not be changed or altered. We hope.
Well, it's a new territory for all of us.
Very good. So finally, you just need to know the members of the singularity, the three who form together. So they've done this several centuries ago. However, they initially were one of the very first researchers who were here when the lab actually locked down. So there's an elf, Silric. There's the gnome, Misa. And then there is a human, Sandro. However, he did ascend to lichdom before actually entering in.
Cool. I've been thinking about doing that when I retire.
Oh, you, well, I suppose it's a bit rude to use the term, should pick his brain. Maybe just discuss with the Sandro portion of the singularity if possible.
Yeah, might do.
Okay, well, let me just go ahead and lay down on the table. Just kind of squeeze in. Does everybody lay on the table no problem?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. She takes these kind of leather straps and just kind of like straps you all in. This is for your protection. We don't want you thrashing around once we start the actual merge.
Are they giving us like wooden bits to champ down on?
I wouldn't worry so much about that. And she just kind of
Small
like dots your head with these wires. There we go. Limiters in place, well connected. It goes to a lever. Okay. I'm gonna want you all to start counting backwards from 10.
All right.
10, 9, 8, and she just flips the switch, and you're just kind of your body seize up, and you're just and your eyes roll back in your head, and you just are immediately just find yourself transported, and you can see that there is this. You're all floating above this massive sphere of water, and you can see these bubbles within the water, but the bubbles themselves appear to be just snippets of memory or thought. And they just kind of rapidly swing by as this kind of like sphere of water has this storm kind of brewing in the center that is just causing everything to flow around. As you kind of float, you are able to you find yourself able to move, and as you think about it, you're able to like move your body throughout this like space. You are floating about, as you can perceive it to be, about 30 feet from this globe.
Uh, Graham will descend to the globe.
Does everybody follow?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. As you approach, the kind of globe begins to suck you in, and you are all rapidly pulled in, and you just like flow into this water, and then you're immediately outside. It is a warm kind of summer day. A small cabin just kind of sits right at the by a lake. You can see a small kind of dock that has a little dinghy hooked into it. Kind of nice smell of honey permeates the air. As you can see that there is a tree with a big beehive on it. Uh, a small child has dragged a table outside and he has laid a sheet along it. He has a number of these bronze pieces and he is kind of just assembling it. The child itself is wearing a kind of plain tunic. His hair is a kind of mess of just kind of dark blonde, freckles along the face, and you see him kind of just assemble this. He eventually finishes. And he looks to you all. Ah, come and see, come and see. Look at it's done.
Howdy.
1 second. And you see he has just finished assembling a small bronze construct of a horse. And he takes a little key, and he puts it in, he turns it, and pulls it out, and the horse kind of like takes off, and it running around this field and circles. It's like, ha! My best one yet.
Nice.
But take a look at this, and he kind of lays out some plans in front of you. It's like, I've been doing some schematicking, and I have an idea for an even more complex one. And you'll notice here, and he kind of taps his finger on a section of the blueprints he laid out in front of you. This is a little thing I've been thinking about. What it does is it creates sound, so it can make different noises and sounds. I've had a thought like this kind of floating in my mind since I first developed this. By the way, who are you all? I'm Sandro.
My name's Graham. We came here to get some help because we're all gonna die in a week, and you might be able to prevent it.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Graham will quickly go into the Acid Guardian, the Sonic Weapon, bish bash bosh.
That's certainly an interesting story. I don't quite understand.
What don't you get?
I suppose all of it.
Uh, Graham will attempt to explain a little further.
Interesting ideas. I know that at the academy in the city of Arwell, they're talking about certain theories. I was hoping once I was a little older to be able to go there myself.
You might get a chance in a way. Graham once again exposits on it's been like a bajillion years.
Hmm. Well, anyway, I'm going to go back to. I've got to get the new pieces so I can build the new horse. He goes and picks up the one he just finished. It has just run out of energy. And he just kind of picks it up and puts under his arm. As he's heading back into his house, give me a perception roll, please.
Uh, 18.
Yep. All right. The smell of honey begins to dissipate, and you kind of smell oil,
Hmm,
and you can hear a clanging sound.
that's interesting. Graham will try to place the clanging sound and follow it.
As you begin to follow it around the side of this cabin, you can see that this memory of Sandro's youth uh, is merging with another, and you can see a short, gnomish woman, about Fiffle's height, with the kind of pointed ears, and she is inside of a workshop. However, there's no real way for this workshop and this cabin to kind of like merge together. Give me an Arcana roll, if you would.
I will be useless at that, so somebody else might want to roll it.
Ah, yeah, Otto, you have the idea that these memories are kind of merging together and are bleeding into one another.
Assassin's Creed.
You highly suspect that this is a result of the actual merger into the singularity.
I will explain that to us.
Oh.
Yeah, no bueno. I don't think you're gonna see him again.
You,
And I don't think he's going to Arwell.
you might be right. Well, we'll see. I guess let's go say hi to the next one and hope I don't have to explain everything again. Graham explains everything again.
As you enter in and step from one memory into the other, uh, in a very strange, almost as if two buildings had just been like two completely different buildings had just kind of shoved together. And you enter in, and you can see this gnomish woman, and she is taking a hammer and a chisel, and she's just like ding, 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 and she's like carving a rune into a piece of metal on this strange contraption. You can see that it is able to move. It has moving parts on it, however, it is resting currently. And she is just kind of ever so slightly tapping the last few bits out before you can see a young man slide down a ladder in front. He is dressed in what you actually make a history check, Graham.
I will try. Jesus.
Um, it's a uniform of some kind. You're not sure what. However, you're able to recognize a 20-something-year-old Sandro. The hair just as messy. The freckles have disappeared, but you can definitely tell that it is the same person. And he kind of just slides down the ladder, and he just, Misa, and she just about to do the last bit when he interrupted her. Yes, Sandro. He's like, no, no, go ahead. She just finishes tapping out, waves her hands, and you can see her beginning to cast a spell, and she just flows the magic into this contraption, and you can see it begin to just spring to life. It's like, there you go. My engineering, the elf's magic, and you merging it together. See, we're a perfect team. He looks to the three of you. I'm sorry, have we met before? Or the four of you? I'm sorry.
Uh, Not yet. We're new in town, as it were, in more ways than one. If you have a couple minutes, I'd like to get you all up to speed on why we're here. We need your help, and we need it fast.
Hmm. Well, we have a lecture we have to go to. We're the apprentices for Zaff Feller, so we're going to be listening into one of his lectures soon.
Can Graham insight to see if that's like a memory of a lecture that they're playing on repeat, or if they might actually have that feller in here or something?
Yeah, go ahead. Do an insight.
Nice.
Guys, just do that. Never mind. He doesn't need help.
Yeah, this would be a more of a reactive thing. This is definitely the memory of a lecture they had attended previously. And in fact, you haven't communed with them at all. You really have just been jumping memory to memory,
Gotcha.
possibly just due to the fact that they are in a coma and are incapable of talking. However, with that 25, you're not sure if these memories are completely random or if they're being selected for you.
Hmm. Um, Graham will see if maybe now that we're in the collective, we could steer it and try to like mentally focus on reaching the actual minds of the people rather than their memories.
All right. How would Graham try and do that?
Try to focus on the descriptions that we were given of each of the members, their names and such not.
All right. Make a. This would just be a flat willpower.
Okay. So like wisdom?
Or, yes, wisdom, sorry.
No worries.
Got the dark heresy in the mind.
Nice.
All right. You are able to steer the memory, and you're able to steer the memory to Sandro much older, and you can see him. You can see Misa the gnome, and you can see an elvish man who you believe to be what did I wrote his name down and now I'm drawing a blank. Silric.
Howdy.
They don't seem to notice you,
Hmm.
and you
Graham
can
will.
see
Oh,
Sandro
yeah.
kind of just etching something down on a schematic, sheets and sheets of schematics, and he finishes and he kind of rolls it up and he puts it in a tube, and you can see that there is a door that he is reluctant to enter into.
Uh, Graham will examine this door.
The door itself is strange in that it is discolored from the rest of the room. It is a different tone, and it is just a door. It's just got a like a handle you can open it up with. It doesn't appear to be locked.
Hmm.
You can see the three of them enter in after stealing themselves. They enter into this door, shuts behind them.
Graham attempts to follow them.
The door refuses to open.
Uh,
Following up on what Graham did, I'm gonna try to will that door open.
Okay, give me a wisdom, just a flat wisdom. You are not having any luck.
can Graham try?
Yes.
Graham will try.
This door, it refuses to open.
What if we combine like together to try this?
Let's Asian prime this shit.
Yeah,
All right. If you would like to, one of you could do it at advantage.
go for it.
All
You're
right,
more
I will
wisdom
try
than
it at advantage.
Okay.
23.
You press against, like you try and will it open, but the door is refusing. However, with focusing in your conscious, you can kind of hear a voice within your head. It sounds like Zherna, and it's
Graham
it's it's
listens.
strange and echoey, uh, and almost like you're communicating by being like shouting over a chasm. But you can hear it come in as Graham.
Yeah.
You can hear us.
Yeah.
You're looking for a specific memory, from what we can understand. We
Ah.
had a thought. the members of the Singularity, they may be blocking off certain memories, either due to the trauma they experienced or for other reasons. You may need to alter some of their memories to allow you access.
Interesting. All right.
The make them think we were there, Graham. Just make them think we were in that room with them.
Yeah. Graham will try to memory port us back to sometime earlier in their combination and just try to insinuate themselves into the memory.
Okay.
Operation Girl Boss Gatekeep Gaslight.
All right.
I will help you with this.
Okay, give me another wisdom, just a flat wisdom.
God damn it! Why does it always do that? 18.
All right. You are immediately teleported. You can find yourself in a university lecture hall, and you can see there is an older man. You've actually recognized him as you've seen his at least hologram many weeks ago. This is Zaf Feller. However, at least within his memory, he is within the flesh. He is discussing a item he had been working on and had been attempting to get working that has unfortunately failed. He has a fix in mind. He describes a sword that is able to change the element it is able to produce and channel. That unfortunately is currently random, but he's describing a fix he would like to apply that might be able to affect it. Sandro continues to sit, but Misa and Silric kind of like nudging him. Hey, we're heading out. This one's boring.
Let's stay for that lecture for now.
Yeah, I want to find out how to fix the Chaos Blade.
Another student just tries to shush them, and Misa's just like, "Oh, shush yourself, Spindos." Actually, make an intelligence check if you would.
I will.
All of us, or
Yeah, if you'd like.
11.
12. Fern and Fiffle are able to do so as well.
I'm doing it. No,
What
is that the right one? That's the wrong one.
It's fine.
Intelligence save.
That one?
Okay.
Nice.
The name's... yes. Fiffle.
Genius. Piffle Tulip.
You recognize the name. Tassos Spindos. You believe you met him previously as a brain in a jar.
Yes, I thought so.
yes, I knew it, but I couldn't. But I Otto didn't know it. Couldn't remember.
Piffle casually points that out.
Oh. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if we could use that as an in with the rest of the brain because we already knew the guy. Well, sort of. Graham is going to pay attention to the lecture and pay attention to the guy who stayed for the lecture to pick up what he picked up.
All right. Misa and Silric just exit the lecture. They're on the you're on the top area, so they're able to like just walk out without too much fuss. Zaf Feller begins to elaborate that the Chaos Blade has a flaw within the runic symbols that had been carved into it due to an error in the actual formula, and discusses how the formula would need to be corrected. He offers a number of different formulas he had described that would possibly be able to help, although he does describe that with the blade itself, you would need to inlay some additional mithril or for a temporary fix, or add a
Adamantine?
Yes, thank you. That's a word that always trips me.
Adamantium. Or adamantite.
Just remember that adamant is a word, and then adamantium or adamantine.
Adamantine. There we go. Using a thin wire of that to etch in the new formula would be able to fix the Chaos Blade, as it has he has noticed is a unfortunate nickname that it has acquired, as he prefers it be referred to as the Feller uh, Augmented Elemental Blade.
Okay. Graham will remember that phrase. Matthew won't, but Graham will.
Well, good, because Ian's probably going to forget it too.
Go to the
Truly
Google
theater of the
Docs.
mind, except for lore.
Go to the Google Docs now.
But yes, you're able to see the memory of this occurring as Sandro stays. However, while he's listening to the lecture, you can see him kind of doodling in his notebook, kind of absent-mindedly listening, like taking notes with one hand and then with the other hand just doodling.
Graham will observe the doodles.
Graham, make a
Like,
history or arcana check.
I will do
I will.
history.
I will observe the doodles also.
Okay.
Is he drawing the S?
While you do see the
I,
S within
I was
the
gonna say,
actual,
do I get the halfling spiritual?
the effects would translate over from the physical into the mental realm. So yes.
Okay, let's try it. I hit the button. Let's see if it does anything. Eh,
Um, Graham, while this requires, yeah, Graham, you and Otto using your history and arcana working together. This is the early stages of attempting to find a way to ascend a lichdom. You recognize certain historical formulas that had been written down, and Otto is able to recognize these specific formulas. And really, you know that the major problem with ascending to lichdom is it requires each individual person to be. They have their own individual formula, so it's not going to translate. There's not going to be just one that can be applied to everybody. So it is Sandro in his early attempts to figure out his formula.
His path to Lichdom.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Ba-da-ba. Graham will try to again do some more memory shifting after the two that left, like switch to their memories after they departed. Once we finish the lecture.
All
I'm
right.
just randomly thinking, did Sandro ever make it to Lichdom?
Yeah,
Just trying to remember.
Mm-hmm.
They said yes, I believe.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
We did it, Twitch. We became an undead horror.
We do our best.
We do what we must.
All right, I'll try to help you force ourselves into another memory.
Another wisdom.
Yes, please.
Okay.
All
Nice.
right. You're able to quickly shift to follow Bisra and Silver as you find yourself outside of the university and the garden grounds. Actually, yeah. If anybody would like to, they can go ahead and make a history roll.
You'd think I specifically took specialty in it
Sure, why not?
or expertise in it, and I just cannot roll for fucking shit.
Well, you're not familiar with the. You recognize the grounds, yeah. Fern, you don't know what history book you read, but Fern, this is obviously the main magical university within the actual city of Arwell itself.
Neat.
You recognize the you recognize the streams that just kind of web throughout the city, the little rivers that take the boats. Remember that the city of Arwell is very much big on the kind of hanging gardens and the rivers. And so this mass greenery is very typical to the city and has been used to great effect with the construction of the university. Uh, the history book you read, though, describes the university as being a little more rundown. This one is more in its heyday, as you're in the memory of the university itself just looking almost brand new. The
Nice.
marble is clean, the smell is fresh, there's no crumbling infrastructural problems. A number of these boats you can see just gently flow down this river that kind of forms some of the roads of the actual city itself. You find yourself looking at a fountain just down south. You also recognize the lion symbol that had been the symbol of the actual emperor who had ordered its construction. Although the name escapes you at this time.
Interesting.
From where you are, you can see Misra and Silric kind of heading up this staircase, having just kind of been walking the grounds. He is a taller man, of course, as an elf, so Misra is definitely has to like try and catch up. Although, as you notice, she actually has a small contraption kind of strapped to her shoes that allow her to kind of walk almost on stilts, giving her a bit more height.
Nice.
But yes, you see them heading up kind of towards this center area to the north.
Okay. Graham will follow.
All right. As you enter in, does everybody else follow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Enter into the section. You can see a number of animals around this area. You can actually see an elephant kind of swimming around the garden within this like pond. It just sucks up some water, and you can see it spraying along its back. As you enter in, you can see that there are a number of people, small groups of students here or there. Sandra, or not Sandra, Silric and Misra speaking to one another. You have to get closer if you would like to hear what they're talking about.
Sure.
As you
Will be tempted.
approach, they notice you.
Hmm.
I've seen you around before. Are you following us?
Not as such. We're looking to speak to you, but we're looking to speak to you later in time. It's a long story.
Some of the other people begin to look at you all.
Uh-oh. This is familiar.
What are you talking about exactly?
So, we're in a memory of yours. I know that sounds a little wild, but bear with me.
As you mentioned this, different groups of people begin to like gather around you,
Ah, hell.
and you notice that they are looking somewhat aggressive.
Which is to say, your research project was a success, just like we agreed on.
Give me a deception roll, please.
I'm good at those. Well, it's room temperature. Can I get a little help from a professional liar?
Yes.
Mishra looks at you, thinks for a second. Uh, Thank you. I can't quite remember the research project we worked on together. Your students here?
Uh, we're from a transfer program. We're working with the university.
Oh, where did you transfer from?
Uh, there's a small cadet school on the continent of Viderheim that's trying to make a name for itself, and it's a little small in podunk right now. Don't tell them I said that, of course, but they're not on the map, and that's what they're trying to fix.
At the mention of Viderheim, Mishra and Solrik they pick up. Oh, we're actually going to be going to Viderheim ourselves. We're apprentices for Zaf Feller, so he's having the class transfer from Arwell to Viderheim. It's cold there, right? A little bit colder.
Oh yeah, it can be pretty bracing. You'll want to pack warm and have some magic accoutrements for it.
That's, hmm. The crowd begins to dissipate a bit at this whole disarming session.
Oh, they're not gonna fight.
Well, we have something. We've been working on this new project. Sandro. Oh, Sandro's not here. He would actually love to hear about Viderheim, but um, we're going to be doing research at a lab that is being constructed. Zapfeller has been bringing a number of artificers there.
Oh yeah.
hmm And so we've had this one idea. No, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. It's a little. It's a secret. You understand, right?
Of course. Publish or perish.
Misra looks like the gnomish equivalent of attempting to keep a lid on a pot that wants to steam up. Like you obviously she wants to tell you so bad, but she can't. She knows she can't.
Aw. Um.
It's gonna be big. You got to keep it a secret, right?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be huge. See what it's about, and then Silveric looks at me. Sure, can it?
Well, we were looking to maybe talk to Mr. Feller anyway. Maybe we can see if we could get into that program, and maybe we could talk about it as colleagues once we get approval.
Yeah, maybe.
In fact, I think we were going to go see him this afternoon.
He's a busy man. I mean, he's got to get the whole big group of artificers together. I mean, how many apprentices does he have? He's got to get
Mm.
like all of us. We got to get a boat. He's talking. He's got this one idea for like rapid teleportation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Out of
Do you know how
character.
far along he is on that?
Oh, he's designed it, and we've been doing tests for it from one room to another room. Um, those early tests have been like very cool. They've mostly worked.
Out of character. That's a far seeking. I can't remember
Yeah.
the.
Yep.
I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah. Graham was trying to find out how far along it was so he could pretend like, oh yeah, we saw that lecture about, and then describe the mechanism, try to make it feel like we're students
Yeah.
to them. But if I can't get a vibe for how far, or like whether we'd have be in a position to know that, Graham won't try.
Oh, it's fantastic. There was a minor accident with it.
Huh?
Well, one student is teleported successfully, and then when they tried it again, it was less successful.
Ah,
Um, there was a spider that was in it that we didn't realize at first, and when it
insect politics.
teleported, there was a minor merger of student and spider, but he's fine now, and they have been able to successfully.
Unmerge.
He's fine now.
That's like. Can I arcana that to see like what does he's fine now entails?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think they've invented trauma yet.
Why is it double rolling?
Well, we'll go with the first one, the 24. Um, yeah, he's fine now.
With that 24, would I know what kind of magic this is, like, considering where we're from? Who am I thinking here? The shaper type of thing?
You, it's very much the principle of using a teleportation spell, but one that can be done by a machine. Typically, a teleportation spell does not actually inadvertently merge people together, which would make sending groups of people together horrifying at the end. You
Just
get
a
a
smidge.
you get a very Tuvix situation. Um, so the failure on that part is odd. You suspect that maybe they did it in reverse to kind of split them apart. Although the kind of cagey way that is being described to you would indicate that that probably wasn't done as successfully as hoped.
Hmm.
Or, as she puts it, he's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
All be okay.
I feel like telling, like forcing into them that yeah, they told us what happened.
Well,
It's a sonic device. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sora. I couldn't keep it undercover any longer. It's a sonic thing we're making.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. That's kind of
Well,
cool.
rumors. We haven't heard,
Yeah, we've heard rumors about that.
anything concrete.
You definitely want a cure for that if you accidentally used it.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have another incident like the. I mean, I'd like to be fine now, but I wouldn't like to be fine now. You understand me?
Oh well, this is just something that's like it doesn't. It's not permanent. Although Sandra did have some like silver bits, and Misha, why don't we head out? It was nice meeting you all, but we have to be off.
Yeah, maybe we'll catch up with you later.
Oh, wait. Sorry, you should tell them about the research you did at the World Tree. That was really useful to. We'll discuss it later. Thank you all. We'll have to be on our way. It was nice to meet you all. Thank you.
See you. World Tree, eh? Maud, eh?
That's why the World Tree doesn't exist anymore. Uh,
Oh,
time hopping again to where we actually got accepted into the program.
yeah, I guess like just slowly insinuate ourselves into their past memories to make them feel like they should expect us.
Yeah.
Graham will try to look for World Tree memories.
Okay, give me another wisdom check, please.
Can I also try?
Yep. Okay.
Dang it. There you go.
Otto is able to kind of look through the different memories, and looking through, you can see these large roots that are kind of growing along this academy grounds that you don't remember being there before.
Mm. So that's what he was doing. He was researching these roots. Can I find any specific point where he was actually doing this? He was
Uh,
investigating this.
you could try following the roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's follow the roots.
As you begin to follow the roots, you find yourself outside on a dock. There is a number of kind of structures built around, and you can see stretching up this massive, massive tree. And you find yourself kind of at the roots of it, as there's a this wooden structure that is kind of like twisting around, built up on it, and is kind of gone into the actual interior. You can see the elf Silra, who is just kind of making his way up. A number of different kind of people are around this area, and they all seem to be kind of looking at you.
Howdy.
They don't respond.
Mm. Where's our elf guy? Where's our guy that we need to catch up with?
He's kind of to the north. You see him around like this area as he is. You not sure what he's doing exactly. You can see him kind of casting spells, but for what purpose you're not sure.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love
Can I
casting
tell what kind
spells.
of spells are based off of like any like
You could do an
sparkly?
Arcana at disadvantage because of the distance. And actually, if you'd also like, you could also roll
Ah,
a yeah. Uh, you're not 100% sure. You definitely need to get closer.
mm,
And if actually, if you'd like, you can make a. Everybody can make a history check or a nature check if you'd like.
21.
Yay!
Ah, ah, ah.
17. Haha.
History of the future.
Yeah.
Haha.
All right. Graham, your knowledge of history is very good. Fiffle, for whatever reason, you just have remembered this little snippet of, but you do remember the knowledge of the world tree. Typically seen as a bit of a tourist attraction these days, but at one point it was a center of research with various druidic magics around. You can still visit the World Tree to this day, and some people do enjoy going there. It's definitely very popular with druids and rangers. Um, the roots are thought to actually extend down into the center of the earth itself, and the actual limbs and the tree extends up several miles into the sky. It is the largest tree on the planet.
Hmm. So these people still looking at us?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Graham will take out a book, like one of his journals or something, and he'll just like look like he's going through it as he's walking, like he's supposed to be there, like he's checking
Yeah,
research notes.
Okay.
I'll take my grub looking notes. Pretend I look like I'm doing something. Should wait, do I have something that looks.
I'm going to follow behind Graham and pretend as if I'm a servant.
It is I, Dr. Books, inventor of literacy.
I still have this book of Orwellian archaeology, apparently archaeological stuff. So I'll pretend I'm looking through this
There you
book.
go. That'll blend in.
Okay. And you make your way.
Downtown.
All right. What are you all doing then? You have
Yeah,
doing your best to blend in.
yeah.
Yep.
Best to blend in.
And what are you doing from there?
Heading closer to see if we can tell what he's doing.
Yeah, and also I guess I'll Jesus Christ. I'll also take a look at what kind of spells he's doing, if he's still doing them.
Okay.
Obviously.
So yeah, he's up about here.
Hold
Um,
on. Where was he?
up to the north here. I am pinging it. I don't know if you can see my
I
ping.
see it.
No, I was scrolled
Yep.
way further north the other time.
Yeah.
And yeah, Graham will continue walking up that way, up all the passageways, etc.
Yep. You pass by a number of druids, primarily. You see a number of different people around. And as you
And
make your way up, my dog is poking me with his nose. How horrid.
casting a spell.
Destroy it.
As he approach, you can see the elf and Silra as you see him casting spells, and he takes out a notebook and he kind of writes down something, and then he casts another spell, and you can tell that it looks like a variation of the same spell. It looks like he may be attempting to do a bit of testing, from what you can tell.
Okay.
Can I tell what spell this is now?
Um, you're not able to tell. You could possibly, you would need to mull it over and think about what it could be and what school of magic it belongs to. But right now, you're not having much luck.
Okay.
The elven man sees you. Hello, have we met before?
Maybe briefly. I think I remember you from back in the day in Orwell.
Oh, haven't been to Arwell yet. I only was accepted to university a little while ago.
Ah,
Are you?
maybe not then. But you do seem familiar.
Well, I've come here as part of my early research. I've been accepted as a apprentice for Zaf Feller, so I decided to use my connections to get access to the World Tree.
Congratulations.
Well, it's a fantastic area for research and magic. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of doing some research here. You're also druids, researchers? I'm sorry, I've seem familiar to me, is all.
Yeah, can't quite place it, but I'm not a druid, but I am a practitioner of a divine form of casting, but also a student.
Hmm. Well, anyway, I'm going to be doing a little bit more research here.
If it wouldn't disturb you, would you mind if we stay and watch?
Uh, it's fine for me, I suppose.
Okay.
Thank you.
By the by, what are you all? I mean, you look like researchers. You've got your noses in books. That's about how I look most of the time.
I've
What?
been a student of the necromantic arts.
Ah, part of the cult of life and death. Then, out of
Uh,
Arwell, you said.
and what was the name of that dude's? The god that the guardian god said was a heretic.
That would be Dentor, the guardian, or the Dentor. Hold on, let me see. I actually have my notes here just for this whole thing.
And Dentor would
Dentor
be
the warden. He's lawful neutral. His domain is death and earth.
uh Graham will name drop him.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to go in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'll probably call it shortly. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Actually, do you mind if I'm always curious about. I'm not a necromancer myself, although I know certain students. There's one student who I hope to be working with, Sandro, who's a. Apparently, he's a master engineer, but also has a almost unheard of understanding of necromantic practices.
Interesting.
Well, I
I'd like to
suppose
meet that guy.
as a human, he's very brief. I'm sorry, you're human as well, I can tell, but I suppose the magic would allow you to survive longer.
Part of the appeal, as it were, yeah.
Anyway, do you mind if I just take a look at what you're reading? I've certain curiosity myself.
Oh. Uh Let me make sure I'm cleared to share parts of this. Like some of it is not mine to share, you understand?
Oh, of
And
course.
Graham will like go through his journal and find something that won't give away that we're time travelers from the future or like memory diving. Just show him like a quest log from Act One.
Yeah, the goblin, the Grove invasion.
I'm trying to think of like a pertinent section. I guess maybe. Hmm, I guess some stuff about um. What do I have? I'm not good at improv right now. My brain is pudding. I guess just some tenets of like tending to a grave properly to keep the spirit from becoming unrested.
Okay.
Restless, that's a word.
He takes a look at the bit you showed him. This is interesting. I'm sorry, I've got a bit of a headache. Something's not right here. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Hmm.
And the various druids that were not really paying attention, they all kind of begin to walk towards you.
Uh-oh.
Something's wrong here. I just can't quite put my finger on it. And as these various druids and are beginning to surround you, we're going to end it here, and we'll pick it up next week. All right.
Hooray.
Yay.
Desynchronization.